Hello, I'm Joan Capurro, and it's my pleasure to host this segment of the Marin Women's Hall of Fame show. It's hard to imagine Marin County without the work of countless women shaping the life, culture, mores, and landscape of Marin County. From Frank Lloyd Wright Design Civic Center to high-quality public schools, artworks in San Rafael, vast areas of open space, innovative businesses, and a robust network of nonprofits. Women have put their mark on Marin County. And Marin women's contributions go beyond our county. Honorees have been in space to the Arctic, created social changing documentaries, served in the U.S. Senate, and helped integrate holistic mind-body medicine with Western medical practices. Since 1987, the Hall of Fame has inducted over 125 Marin women of distinction, and today it's my pleasure to introduce Jan Pedersen Schiff, who was inducted in 2013 for her work in community service. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your life with us and with the viewers. So let's start with where your life began and what your family was like.
Okay, so my life began in Chicago, in the inner city part of Chicago, 1300 North, if you know, 3500 West, if you know the city at all, Evergreen Avenue. And it was a very religious, strict religious environment. The part where I became the musician through that religious environment was because I, of course, sang in the church choir, but it was also singing the hymns and at our family devotions, which happened every single night after dinner.
Wonderful.
And so we sang hymns. Mom sang soprano, Dad sang bass, and the four of us, children, found the harmonies in between. And so that's where my musical ear developed. It was fantastic ear training.
You were raised on music from a very small age. That's wonderful. Yeah. I like to hear all of that. We did much of that ourselves. Well, but singing with your family, how many did you say was in your family?
We were four.
Four? Okay.
But my sisters, the three of us, we were a trio. And that trio evolved through my piano teacher. I took piano lessons for 10 years. And but I was more interested in singing than piano.
All glad.
But I still learned a lot from her as a pianist, and I'm glad I can play today. But she had us singing in her church choir because she liked our musicianship, and so she brought us there. And then she thought that we should become a trio, which we did, and we would sing for other churches, and we'd sing for retirement homes. And so my first exposure to going around, singing for the retirement homes began at a very early age. And I loved singing harmony. I loved being the second soprano, which was between the first soprano and the alto, and so because it was the way in which I could really fine-tune making music.
So what age were you when you started singing, would you say?
Well, of course I was
like a toddler.
When I started singing, but our trio, my youngest sister was probably 8 and I was 10. She sang soprano, I was 10, second soprano, and my oldest sister was 12.
When you're younger, you learn more, you learn faster.
And we were very good, and we were as good as the Lennon sisters, everybody used to tell us.
I love it, the Lennon sisters. That was my sister's favorite. I think that's fabulous. It's interesting that your family, you started out with singing, and your whole family has music in their life. Because when I think about, as I've seen you perform, you have all ages that you teach now. So that explains part of that to me now. So do you have a passion, because I know you have other talents in this area, do you have a passion for one aspect of either singing or composing, conducting, or teaching?
That has to be conducting. Conducting is my passion. Right. I love to sing. I've become a better singer as I've become a better teacher of singing. I've learned how to sing through my teaching of singing, and so I love that. And composing, when I have the time, I enjoy that. I compose a ton of songs. When I was after high school, after college, but during college and after college, love songs. Breaking up with a boyfriend, having to write a song. So so I yes.
Do you have some now that?
Oh yeah, I mean, and the one that I sang for my husband for our wedding was Dreamer.
Oh, I love it. That's very romantic.
But anyway, but that aspect of composing, but then also for my choir, I've done not a lot, but some composing for my choir and arranging, but there's not time. No, so I'm hoping that aspect will grow as I retire, if I ever do.
Well, we'll be starting to see that happen. You have so much to offer, and you've changed a lot of lives just because of the music. But you discovered conducting while an undergraduate at Augsburg College in Minnesota. Is that right? How did that happen?
So I was a junior in college, now majoring in music. I was going to be a nurse, but that didn't happen because we don't have to go into that.
Okay.
But I did find my love in music, and then I found my love in conducting in that class, conducting class. I was a very shy young girl, and so when I got into the, first let's start again. I really admired my conductor, my instructor, my mentor, and he was my dear mentor friend for many, many years until he himself developed Alzheimer's and passed away then some years ago. But he was special and strict and demanding, and I wanted to be as good as he was, and I would follow those patterns in a mirror and make sure that I was absolutely accurate, and so, and then in the class I would become this other person when I was in front of the group of singers, because something about the music I had to draw the music out through my hands.
Gotcha, right.
And, it was very special. And I became very good. And I was the only one that got an A.
I love it.
And the second year, again, the only one that got an A. He told my friends, he told them, you have to be as good as Jan to get an A.
That's fabulous. Well, and we had a conversation about this too a while back, you and I.
I think it was funny.
I think that when you said he was very strict, and you said that you're very strict too.
Yeah.
And
I have high standards.
High standards.
Yeah, it's high standards, and
That's great.
and that's what I want to do, is make music at the highest possible level with whatever singers I have in front of me.
Right.
So if they're little children, or if they're professional singers, or my adult women's chorus, they have their abilities, but I'm going to have them sing their best, and I'll teach them how.
That's great. That's why they're successful. I think that's why you're successful. You really need to demand the best. It doesn't come out of it, particularly I think in the area of singing or playing an instrument. I mean, so good for you, and it's a good thing that you had that teacher that did that for you.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a gift. That was a gift.
True.
Good for you. Well, after graduation, you taught music in Chicago public schools, eventually creating a girls' choir that took top honors. Again, that's because you demanded the best in state competitions. What was that like for you as a young teacher?
Well, I didn't stay in Chicago that long.
Okay.
I went back to Chicago to teach, but that was because I actually had applied for Vista, and they didn't come through.
Okay.
And so I said, well, I have to start something. So I got myself into a job teaching music in the inner city public schools, and it was in an all-black school and in South Chicago. Tough neighborhood. I saw 700 kids a week in general music classes. It was pretty crazy.
How did they do?
The classes were difficult, but I started a little choir in the morning before school at around 7:30 around 7:30 a.m. I mean, it was 8 o'clock. It was really early,
just before
and
school.
the kids would come, and because I didn't know any better, they sang really, really well, because I taught them three-part harmony, and we ended up singing for Crispus Attucks Day in a public park, videoed. It was on television, my choir. It was really fun.
Oh, that's great. Did you know if any of those students became successful?
I have no idea of those students. But then I left that school and went on to do another, took a sabbatical replacement at a high school, because I was, again, always interested in traveling. So I was going to be going off to teach in New Zealand. I decided I was going to teach in New Zealand, and but the job wouldn't start until January, so I would be a substitute teacher, which I did. I took a sabbatical at a neighboring high school from mine. It was the name of the school's vanished for some reason.
That's all right. I can't remember mine.
But then I had this girls' chorus, and we went to competition, and we did win top honors. And there's a plaque with my name on
is
it
that right?
at the school.
Oh,
And top
exciting.
honors. It was really fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
I ended up staying for the full year, and I never went to New Zealand because I was enjoying myself too much with that group of girls.
Well, I think when you're successful, and the success is really in what you've taught these young people, why would you want to do that? So good for you. And now you've left your mark, speaking of leaving your mark, and then you moved to Marin.
Well, not then.
Well,
but
a little bit time. How much longer before you moved to Marin from
so
there?
many places. I went to live in Norway. Then I went to live in England. Then I went to graduate school. Then I got my job at a college in Pennsylvania. And then I came around after I broke up with my boyfriend. What am I doing here? And I went to California because somebody had once said, "You look like a California, or you're a California girl." I know, and I've never lived in California, so I moved to Los Angeles. Was there 9 years, and then I said, "What am I doing here?" Was not meeting the man of my life. My best friend had just moved to Point Reyes. I went up to visit her. It was like, oh, this is so lovely here. And I left everything I'd started there and
So
came north.
1980s.
Yeah, late 80s.
Right, okay.
Yeah, late
But
80s.
you established a private vocal studio and started a women's chorus class at the Strawberry Recreation.
That's right. And
which
that
is
was,
where I met you too.
And that was the beginning of Singers Marin.
It was, okay. Because you modeled it after the Long Beach City College Women's Chorus, is that right?
Yeah. I was teaching at Long Beach City College and part-time also at LA City College, in mostly voice classes. At Long Beach, I had the women's chorus. And the women's chorus was made up of, it was a daytime class, and there were a lot of women that were from the community. There used to be a PTA course, actually, and that's how it started.
Nice.
And then the college took it over, and I was their instructor. And one of the things we would do is we would go off and sing for the retirement homes, you know, and it was part of their tradition, and I
And you
liked
had that
it.
training.
You know, yeah, exactly.
As a child.
And so that was fun. And so when I came here, I went, well, these ladies were either retired or they were moms that had kids in school, or they were, you know, professionals that could get away during the day.
Whatever age group, right?
So yeah, and so that was what I modeled my initial course
For the
at
Singers
Strawberry.
Marin.
That became the Wings of Song chorus.
I love that.
And, yeah.
I mean, well, can you share the Singers Marin story a little bit more? Expand on that a little bit more. Like, where did you go from there? That was the beginning.
That was the beginning. Then there were people that asked me, can't we do something in the evening as well, you know? And they also wanted a mixed chorus. So I did start a mixed chorus, ended up calling it Choral Singers of Marin.
Yes, I remember that.
And then that was the name that we eventually chose as the nonprofit name, you know. I got the nonprofit relatively early on. Midway through, families had been asking me about their children, and that's when I started caroling kids, which was just an idea to have the kids carol during the holidays. But almost simultaneously, Wings of Song had hosted an event at the Civic Center, big, huge California Women's Chorus event.
I actually remember reading about that.
Okay, and so we had that happening, and part of that was raising money for scholarships for music students, and we raised a lot of money, and we gave it away in some scholarships. But then we had some extra, and so we thought, well, let's give this to the public schools for a music program. And that was when I went around to the public schools to find out that there really wasn't much happening in the public schools. So we had an honors choir. We started an honors choir, and there was hardly any schools that had choirs. So San Marin,
San Marin.
Emily Gates,
Right,
who
right.
also is a nominee here, inducted into this wonderful organization. She had a fabulous choir, and so she provided the guys, and then a little smattering of schools, one from the different other high schools, came together, and we did this honors chorus. And it was successful, and we decided we were doing it a second year, which was also successful. And then the kids and parents came to me and said, can't we do something regularly instead of just this one-time event? And so that's when the Les Etoiles, the teen girls, they named themselves the Stars. That's when they were formed.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
And
You
that's now
started that.
16, 17, 18 years ago about that.
I didn't realize that the schools didn't have that music, and that you actually helped to create that throughout the schools.
And it's grown. So there's way more music. I mean, now, now Mill Valley with Kiddo, and has wonderful
Right.
programs for school. Most of the schools except Redwood still does not have a high school choir.
Well, we'll have to work on that. You could do that.
You aren't kidding.
I have to put that on your webpage.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that like you said, you perform at local retirement homes and healthcare facilities, and you bring a lot of joy to those residents, and that makes such a difference because Marin County is full of a lot of elder people, and they need that. And I think people from the old days were raised more on music.
Well, they were.
Than
They were.
what you see today.
Yeah, and they
actually.
appreciate the choral music, and they love it. And I think what makes us special is we bring excellence to them, and so the music really touches deep. It goes right to their hearts and to their souls. The initial purpose of Wings of Song was to bring back memories. And so we would sing songs that would bring back memories, but we would do them so well that that's what makes it cut so deep.
I think high expectations are great because that does more for everybody. It doesn't matter what their age is and their talent. And I think what I see in this too is how much you're teaching them to be community spirited, just going to sing in rest homes and all of that. So you have a very classy way of getting people to be in the community and do things that are good as well as good for themselves. So I really admire you for all that you're doing, and I know you've sang for the bank for Spirit of Marin, and that makes a big difference. And I feel like you need to be out there more. You've done so much and you've made such a difference, but I'm not sure enough of the community knows that. I hope that everybody watches and listens to what your story is, because I think that's so important. And you were inducted in the Marin Women's Hall of Fame April 2013. How did you feel when you were notified about being inducted?
I cried.
Oh, bless your heart. Oh my gosh.
And
you should have been surprised.
yes and no. I mean, no, I wasn't surprised after I've been, especially since
For
I
what
was
you've done.
interviewed and whatever. But at the same time, I was honored.
Yes, I know. I think everyone feels that way, but it's interesting the reactions that different people have about once you're called and said, oh, you're going to be in the Women's Hall of Fame, and it was for community service. Community service really fits what you did and what you do. So we want you to keep on doing that, and I would like you to let us know what advice you have for women in the community of all ages to be fully engaged in supporting the community and each other.
Well, I think the advice that I have for everybody, I guess.
Yes,
I was saying
women.
young women, but to be your authentic self, to do what you're passionate about.
Right.
Follow your dreams.
That's what you've done.
Follow your dreams.
That's why you're successful.
And know that you can, but also be very appreciative of everything. Be good. Be true. Be true.
High principles.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, the last thing I'd like to ask you about is, what are you doing now? Maybe what do you envision in the future? And also I want to be sure to include that you teach young men and older men to sing too. So this is not just about women. This is about people. But let us know what's happening now. What do you want to do? Or anything you want to tell us.
Well, our board had a retreat recently, and we made some decisions that, okay, what's next for the next 25 years? Okay, it's like, and I won't be part of all of that, but I want to be part of getting it started. Yes. And definitely we are looking at wanting to do more in the community and be more out there, so that I hope more people will know that we are out there. We've been looking at how can we build a really what was the words? Global choral community.
Yes.
And maybe bring other countries and their choirs here. You know,
Yes.
we perform, have now 4 times, this will be the 4th time that we are performing in the World Choir Games.
Wonderful.
And we're going to be going to Latvia with the teenagers this summer. And competing, and it's just tough competition.
And being excellent.
And we'll do our best, you know. We did get a bronze and a silver.
Congratulations.
In the last competition, but the girls have to work really hard to stay at that level. But what I'm trying to say here, I want to bring the quality of music that the Chinese and the Middle Eastern
Right.
countries have, and a lot of Europe, and bring that music here and show the community what is possible.
Right.
What is possible?
We can learn from each other, right?
Oh yeah, and
Yes,
bringing
you
the world
know.
and bringing the world together to sing. It's just
Good
so
for
special.
you. Good for
You
you.
know, so you know, look for a Marin County Choral Festival.
I feel like someday we're going to see something at Civic Center, and it's going to be international. And it's going to be
Yes.
Jan Pedersen Schiff that discovered everything
No.
and created it. I can see that happening. Jan, I have a question to ask you that I know the viewers will be interested in. Did you find the love of your life? Tell us a little bit.
When I left Los Angeles, and came north, actually I did. And it's a cute story. I was the choir director at the Community Congregational Church in Tiburon, and we were at a church service on Angel Island, and I was standing next to this man whom I hadn't ever met before, and the minister said, hug somebody you haven't hugged before. I mean, you know, that you've never hugged before, or something like that. And so there he was, and we walked down the mountain together, and
That was it?
that was it. And we were
That's
married
beautiful.
almost 6 months later.
That's beautiful. And how long
And
have
that
you been
was
married?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah, we just celebrated that anniversary in October.
You are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. You
You've
are wonderful.
been such a gift to Marin. I feel like you're a secret gift, to be honest with you. And I think more people need to know about you. So just want to thank you for sharing your incredible life with us. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. The Marin Women's Hall of Fame is a project of the YWCA of San Francisco and Marin. If you'd like to learn more about the Hall of Fame and our honorees, please visit www.ywcasf-marin.org. Thank you, Jan. It was wonderful, wonderful to talk to you.